Hi, I'm Queen Silvy of the multiple award-winning The Queen Silvy Show. You want to expand and get noticed? Then come outside your box and into our world. Internet advertising has a real impact on global awareness and even sales, so let's make an impact together. Offering for a limited time advertising and sponsorship packages that excel your purpose. So contact Queen Silvy or Smooth Tim for the exciting opportunities that awaits. Yeah.
Hi, this is TV comedy impressionist Christopher G from the other side of the pond saying hi, and I love the Queen Silvy Show.
Today on the Queen Silvy Show, on a level all his own, composing some of the best electronic down-tempo music, encompassing pop, rock, and other genres of music I guarantee you'll love. From the Glass City, Toledo, Ohio, I introduce to you Fathom Frost.
Welcome to the Queen Silvy Show. Tune in at 11, good laugh, good vibe, that's for sure. Get smooth with Tim, get smooth with Tim. They have you running like you popped the pill. Once you hear the show, you ain't gonna want it to end. Get creative with the sounds you can make with your mouth. Reaching all over the world, Queen Silvy in the house. Award-winning show, got the #1 spot, look out. It's the Queen Silvy Show. 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 It's the Queen Silvy Show.
Hi, this is Joe Mass. You are listening to the Queen Silvy Show. You are now part of the royalty.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live, it's time for the silky smooth sounds of Smooth Tim and Her Majesty herself, Queen Silvy.
Hey, it is Smooth Tim, and thank you for dropping in on another Tuesday with us on the award-winning Queen Silvy Show. Yeah, I'm glad that's a good way to spend your election day is with us and forget all your troubles, forget all your woes, and let me introduce to you the world's sexiest granny, everybody's favorite comedian, the queen herself, Queen Silvy.
That is correcto mundo.
Making everybody's day brighter, Queen. Thank you.
Why?
I'm looking at bright yellow shirt.
I know I
looking
am.
so beautiful.
I aims to please, my friend. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where you are in this great world today. Thank you for tuning in, watching, listening in to the multiple award-winning The Queen Silvy Show. Yes, it is a terrific Tuesday. You are in for some super greatness. Oh, yeah. Smooth, how are you today?
I'm doing terrific on this Tuesday. And Queen, might I ask, how are you?
As always, I'm supercalifragilistic.
Expialidocious,
Yes.
I suppose, is 24/7, 365. Queen Silvy, you are just simply amazing.
Amazing, I know. True that. I am amazing, but you are amazing, Smooth. You are amazing, as well as our amazing lineup of announcements and guests for today.
You know what? As you said, right at the top of the show, rather, thank you. Ooh. Phantom Frost is going to be on sharing some of his musical talents with us, and that's going to be a lot of fun. You're going to like the electronica that he brings to the table. It's new, it's interesting, and he's really pretty good. Okay, gone to announcements. Of course, our hearts and prayers are going out to the world, and all kinds of things still going on over in the Ukraine, and, there's a lot of stuff coming out in the dirt about, the bombings and all this stuff. Please stop. Please, peace. It's getting near Christmas time. Peace, people. Forget about this stuff. Also, it's an election day. Forget about all the stress of that. Just enjoy.
All right, twice he said
the
election
Queen.
day. That's it. No more
Enjoy
talk
the
about.
Queen. Okay? That's all
Okay.
we want to have happen. And also, let's see here. Wow. Because you are worth it, Foxy 5 Jewelry. It is sassy, elegant, and affordable. Fashionable jewelry and accessories for you and or that someone special. So go ahead and get hold of Monica right on Facebook or go to www.foxy5jewelry.com. And let's see what another way to keep up with the Queen and I is to go to our YouTube channel. Go to YouTube, simply type in The Queen Silvy Show. You'll get the results of all three of our shows. So go to The Queen Silvy's channel. And then while you're there, please subscribe. Some analytics from last week. Canada, Ireland, Jamaica, New Zealand, St. Kitts, St. Lucia, Tobago, United Kingdom, and the United States. Thank you for tuning on in. We appreciate you.
Yes, we do. Matter of fact, if you're watching this live, I want you to know, Smooth and myself, we love and appreciate you. And if you're watching this later on our archive, Smooth, hit it. Hit it.
Our love is everlasting, Queen.
Our love is everlasting. Yes, it is. On this terrific Tuesday, I'm honored that you are here. As I said before, and I'll say it again, you are in for some super greatness today. I'm looking forward to jamming to some electronica, down-tempo music. It is great. You know, we love to groove in our seats, and we're going to do it today like no other. The phone lines are open. You're more than welcome to call in and ask our guest a question. Give a shout-out, Smooth or myself, or give yourself a shout-out. That number is 817-602-0577. That is the number to the Queen Silvy Show on this terrific Tuesday. Before we get into my conversation with my wonderful guest, what I like to do at this moment is I like to share some motivational words from the Queen Silvy Show to you today. Today is the opportunity to build the tomorrow that you want. I mean, never expect anyone to give you what you want. You have to work hard, show some dedication, and go get it yourself. You got to push yourself because no one's going to do it for you. And you get what you work for, right? So, whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, you're right. But do the right thing and succeed. And those are motivational words from the Queen Silvy Show to you. You know what I think I'm going to do, Smooth? I think I'm going to give a couple shout outs to right now, and then we'll give some more at the end of the show so that if you would love to be shouted out or have someone that you would love for us to shout out, we represent you and get you in for today as well. But giving some shout outs to Kinsley Patino, Queen Jenna, Queen Ashley, Queen Canette, Rouse, and Follette Clark. Shout out to you. To Helen Myers, Peace Myers, Corey and Casey Patino, Joan Mercer. Shout out to you. To Queen Aaliyah, Asia, Tay, Maya, and Camille, shout out to you. To my grandsons, my prince, my Pooba Poo Amori, as well as Jonathan Jr. and Tyron, shout out to you. To Queen Sonia, Kaki, Shanika, Brianna, Alana, and Precious, shout out to you. To Patricia, Wilhelm, McGiffin, to James and Audrey, shout out to you. I love giving shout outs. We're going to give some more shout outs just later on, but I want to say, hey, you have time to get your name in on the list and be shouted out later on. But listen, if you don't know, now you know that we aim to bring the best in live entertainment, talents, and topics from around the world just for you, as well as resources. So, check out this resource. And when we get back, let's get this conversation, let's get this music grooving on the Queen Silvy Show. Hi, I'm Queen Silvy of the multiple award-winning The Queen Silvy Show. You want to expand and get noticed? Then come outside your box and into our world. Internet advertising has a real impact on global awareness and even sales, so let's make an impact together. Offering for a limited time advertising and sponsorship packages that excel your purpose. So contact Queen Silvy or Smooth Tim for the exciting opportunities that awaits. Yeah.
All righty then.
Yes, we are back on this terrific Tuesday, the multiple award winning The Queen Silvy Show. Hey, I hope you've spread the word, being kind, and letting someone else in on this super greatness we have today. Because on a level all his own, composing some of the best electronica downtempo music, encompassing pop, rock, and other music genres, I guarantee you'll love. From the Glass City, Toledo, Ohio, I introduce to you Fathom Frost. Yeah. How are you today?
I'm good.
Good. Listen, hey, someone wants to know, who is this guy? Listen, you can go to your favorite archives. He was previously on the show back on March 8th of this year, 2022. Go to your favorite archives, type in The Queen Silvy Show, go down and check it out. We showcase some fantastic music. You got a chance to get to know a few things about this multi-talented king right here from the Glass City. But you know, Fathom, you are originally from Kettering, Ohio, which is a suburb of Dayton. Now
Correct.
calling Glass City here your home. But what's something that the average listener would be surprised to learn about you?
I've had various jobs. Military was the first one, and I was a intelligence analyst.
Oh,
So military intelligence.
oh,
Had a top secret clearance
oh.
back in the 90s. So I didn't follow that path the way I thought I was going to. But it always, when doors close, other ones open. So you have a lot of opportunity to do things that you never thought you would do.
Right.
I was part of Desert Storm when it happened back in the 90s. I had some things to do with that, which was kind of interesting doing it from, because I was in Germany at the time.
Wow.
It was an interesting time. And I always look back on those memories, even though they were good or bad, I always look back on them as good.
Wow.
So I think it's surprising my background, how I've gotten this far in life, and I've gotten to the point where I'm actually doing music online. However, it never started that way. I mean, I've always played piano and stuff like that, but I never really thought that I would get to this point. Actually, I never thought music would get to this point where we could release our own stuff.
It's fantastic.
So it's amazing how far people come, not even knowing your path. I mean, people always say things happen for a reason, and you never know the reason.
I say that exact thing. That is exactly what I say. Things do happen for a reason. I mean, you were brought to our platform for a reason, and it's to give the world some of this greatness. I know that music is within your bloodline. You've learned from your mom and all in your family, but for you, Frost, I don't know. Sometimes I rather to call you Frost, or from you, Phantom, or from you, Phantom Frost, or from you, Double F. I mean, this guy's everything. Secret Service, CIA. I don't know, man. This is great.
Q. he,
No.
he said he had Q clearance, didn't he?
No.
Oh, you see how I was trying to trick him into, oh, wait, I'm not that guy.
Yeah, I won't get into that, but I don't believe that actually exists.
You know what I'm saying?
So how did you first discover electronica and down-tempo music?
I guess my first experience with it was back in Germany. Electronic scene is pretty big.
Mm-hmm.
And I would go to a couple shows locally of people playing, but at that time, the technology wasn't as advanced as it was now. So you were doing they were doing tape machines, they would do records or something like that, and very unappealing kind of devices where you'd have to plug in. They call it modular back then.
Mm-hmm.
It was a bunch of plugs that you couldn't really mess around with too much because you would lose your sound forever. So I seen a couple of those things, and I would kind of frequent some of the music shops that were in Germany, like the music record shops. But then there's another one that had records in the top, and then down in the basement they sold electronic gear or musical gear. And at that time, I was also big into listening to Art of Noise, which I think had a lot of impact on me.
Mm-hmm.
Art of Noise and a lot of other Kraftwerk, stuff like that. Kraftwerk's a German group that became popular in the 70s and 80s. But I think mostly my influence was what I was listening to at the time was 80s type stuff, which included Art of Noise.
Right.
And I had always had a background in playing piano, and I was down in the music shop and started messing around with the keyboards, which had progressed since when I was in high school. I used to go to the music shop there and do that there. At that time, I was actually getting ready to re-enlist, so I had a re-enlistment bonus. So I bought a keyboard and a drum machine over in Germany. And I brought it back to my barracks and just played all the time that I could. Would mess around with my old Mac and stuff like that, recording stuff. But at that time, it was very, very basic. It's nothing like it was now. So I guess it was just basically having a lot of free time, some money, and influences that were in Germany and was on the radio.
Well, now you're a hot thing now with all the skills and technology and all that you have behind the music. You ever want to go back to Germany and show them what you got?
I would like to go back to Germany to sightsee, because I didn't do a lot of that at that time. I would like to go see what the electronic scene is now there,
Mm-hmm.
and I would definitely go to some of the areas that I went to before to see if they've changed. I mean, things change over the years, and
Right.
this is a long time ago. So,
Where were you at in Germany? What part of Germany?
Augsburg, down in Bavaria, Germany, down by Munich.
Right.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Oh, it's a beautiful country.
So,
Yeah.
I know that a lot of people probably been jamming to electronica and down-tempo music, not knowing that is the title of that type of music. So for somebody unaware, explain it. Explain electronica and down-tempo music.
Downtempo is kind of more of a slower pace to it, so you can sit and you may be able to put it in the background while you're studying. A lot of people call it chill hop now.
Mm-hmm.
The thing with electronic music, it is constantly evolving into new genres or calling them something different. But I've always kept it as electronica because it wasn't music that I felt that had a purpose to get to an end, but more something that would either change your mood, like you could sit and listen to it and be a little bit uplifted by it, or just relaxing from it. And that's really my goal, has always been to make something that other people enjoy. And I don't think I've added lyrics, mostly because I don't want to have interpretations of it.
Right.
I just want to have the music as pure.
Right. Well, listen.
That's interesting because it's something that means absolutely nothing.
No, it's
Exactly.
True. I mean, that's what he just said. It's something
Uh,
that means absolutely nothing. It's just to change your mood.
I won't call it elevator music, but it has the same effect. It kind of calms you down and relaxes you.
yeah, yeah.
You're not thinking about other things. It's kind of something to tune into.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
I do too. That's smooth. Smooth, that's smooth. So complete this sentence for me. This is you saying it. My first love is
Synthesizers. I guess that would be the first one.
my second love is
Making music with synthesizers.
my third love is eating a sandwich while playing the synthesizer.
Yeah.
I listen to the music that I play on my synthesizer.
And seeing people's either reactions or enjoyment of my music.
That's what's up.
I'm still looking for my crowd, like my fan base, I guess it would be. And sometime by the end of the year, I'm going to be going out to do some local shows.
Please keep us posted. Ooh, we would love to not only promote that, but be in the place to be the little fan club standing there, sitting around, screaming at the music.
Now, I don't know if we had asked this the last time, but do they have like the electro shows where it's just nothing but electronic music and people can come? I mean, around in the Toledo area.
Detroit, and well, Detroit is a bigger area for electronic music, but there are small venues here. I recently got in touch with a couple people because I really wanted to do what I wanted to do when I moved downtown. That was to get into the electronic scene and maybe do some shows or get some of my music into those shows for some other DJs and stuff like that. So it's been one of those things that I've been wanting to do, and I just kicked myself in the butt to do it maybe 2 months ago.
Well, that's good. Kick yourself in the butt more. I mean, you really have a lot to offer.
I think, we had a chance to do that when we was in Dallas.
Right.
And it was really a blast to listen to the different people and the different styles of electronic music they brought to the table.
Oh, yeah. I like sitting back. Like the last one I went to, I just sat back because I had never been out to this club. So I just sat back and kind of listened to the music that was being played by other people. A lot of it was DJ stuff, but it was stuff that they've created themselves. They weren't spinning other people's records. They were doing their own stuff. And I didn't realize that existed in this area. So this is something that I wanted to do myself. Good. I never really thought how I was going to do my music into putting into a situation like that because mine's more of a lower tempo, very relaxing. But
that's good, though.
Pretty different. It does. But a lot of people come out to the clubs, they want to dance. So I guess I could speed my stuff up, or what my next thing is to do is to make music that's geared towards that audience.
Right. Well,
right, and it's hard. The venue is finding the right venue to where you can have an open mic situation where various artists could come in and start to establish the art. And that all comes through bringers. They bring 2 at a time, 3 at a time, whatever it is, and you're establishing that crowd in that particular venue, and that's how you grow it.
Yes, and that's what I did. That's what this venue was. They had an open mic. So I went and listened to some of that. And it was also not as crowded as I was thinking it was going to be, which is a good thing for me because I have social anxiety. So it was a slower crowd, and you see people dancing and stuff like that, and just enjoying the music.
That's what it's all about.
And I got to network with some of the people that actually did some of the music themselves.
Cool.
And they were inviting me to other things. So it's kind of like opening the door to a new world that I didn't know existed in this area.
That's how it's done.
That's how it's done, exactly. Because, if music can be considered a language, what is it that you would like to communicate with your work?
Well, the world is a hectic place. And the fact that everybody speaks a different language is one of those things that it gets to the point where people can understand either where you're coming from or what you're trying to get across. Now with music, I always feel that music is kind of a universal thing where you might not be able to understand what they're talking about, but you can understand their music, or you can at least enjoy their music. And then a lot of times you might break that. Like, so let's say if you know somebody in person, you might break that language barrier by talking about gear or talking about music that you have in common, and you start to break that. So it's kind of like an opening intro to you to another person. I think that my music in particular, I don't want anybody to label it as such, and that might be that I'll let them do that. I guess I don't want to label it myself. A lot of times you have to have a label just to even put it up, but I want it to. I don't want to be arrogant and say transcend everything else, but I want it to be able to, so people enjoy it.
Right.
And the only way you can get that across sometimes is to just put it out there and have them listen to it.
That's right. That's how it's done. You're in there. You have a good song that I've listened to. I enjoy especially instrumental music. I mean, I'm a fan of jazz big time. I'm a fan of electronic. You know what? Matter of fact, the A, does that A matter big when you say electronic and electronica? Is there a difference in that?
Like I said, it changed a lot. Electronic music is kind of a large genre. And I don't know if electronica is kind of a subgenre of that, but I've always noticed it as like ambient music and stuff like that. But it kind of identifies what kind of instruments you're going to use on it. If it's acoustic, say I play acoustic music. And usually that connotates that you're using an acoustic guitar, regular drums, and stuff like that. I mostly use electronica as a classification of what to expect.
Right.
Like if you were to say, I play heavy metal music, people automatically know what they're in for, or at least they have an idea of what they're in for. So I put electronic in there. The A, I don't really know. Like I said, it has evolved so much. Even from when I started, it has evolved into, I believe in dance music, because electronic dance music itself has over 80 different subgenres, and electronica is above that. So I think a lot of the names that they put on them could mean something to the people that have actually come up with it, but I guess it's just putting a label onto it. Now, electronica itself, I've always thought of as purely using electronic instruments or samples and stuff like that, and then something to identify what you might expect when it comes out.
So tell me about Candy Crush in Japanese.
This is using an old technique that I've had, and I guess a workflow would be a better word for it, that I've been using, and I'm planning on retiring it because I started to notice a lot of the songs that I was doing or releasing. Like this album that I'm working on now has over 25 tracks.
Wow.
And I'm starting to pare it down because a lot of them sound similar because I use similar samples and stuff. So this was one of those ones that came out and I was like, well, it doesn't sound too much like me, but there's still a good variance of sounds in it that will be fresh, I guess it would be a good word for it.
Hey, it's a great tune.
He could be like the Beatles and put out a song that doesn't sound like you at all, and you'd be like, wow.
That's always been my goal. Billy Joel was one of those people that you could hear his songs and they're always kind of different. You know it from the title, but if you hear it on the radio and you can't identify it, and he comes out as Billy Joel or writing other songs for other people too.
Absolutely. Hey, let's check out Cotton Candy Crush in Japanese by Fathom right here on the Queen Silvy Show. I like that. I like that. I'm telling you, you are so on for big things. You need to get on that social media and work it, baby, because you have a lot to offer. That is very good. That there was very nice. Cotton Candy Crush in Japanese. It had that little Japanese twing twing in there. That was just like twing twing. What is a twing twing? He knows what a twing twing is. Don't worry about it. But how many albums do you have? If I'm not mistaken, when you were last on the show, there were 7.
Yes,
And now you're
I'm
releasing your
not.
9th, right?
Yes.
So you did this year alone 2 albums?
Within a year's time, this will be the 4th album
Wow.
since September. Well, actually, a little bit more than a year. But like I said, I've kind of slowed down. I'm trying to get to the point where I'm not releasing everything that I think is good enough, and I'm kind of like I'm using a new technique now that I'm going to invest more time into, I guess, perfecting it.
Hmm.
Because there's a lot of stuff in some of my songs that is in there because it was recorded live, so basically they're live jams, and a lot of things that I couldn't actually edit, which some people say is a good thing, but I'm going to save that stuff for the live show.
Hey, is it post-traumatic job disorder? Is that the
Yes,
name of the album?
that's the name of the last album.
The last album. Where that title comes from? Is it a hard time at work and you're like, you know what, I'm gonna go home and just get it off my chest?
Well, I had that collection of music, and at that time, I was working at a job here in Toledo that was a factory job, and I had honestly just got fed up with it.
Well, that explains it. Toledo, Ohio, factory job. Enough said.
It was stressful because it works with Chrysler and Jeep and stuff like that. So we would work when they would work, but it would consume pretty much your entire life. Like you would just have enough time to come home, eat, relax for a minute, go to bed.
Oh, wait, you have 12-hour shifts and that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's tough on you.
What happened was there was a forklift. I was a forklift operator, and I had an incident where I had to get drug tested. So I went in there, and at that time, normally I had no problem with, but they were taking a long time. So I went to the bathroom before the guy came. Well, the guy came about 20 minutes later, and I couldn't really go, so I had to wait. I was waiting for a couple hours to go, and drinking a lot of water. And my supervisor started to get antsy, I guess it was, and he was a fill-in for somebody else that wasn't there before, so he wasn't really the greatest at diplomacy on stuff. So basically what happened was it got on my nerves so much that I said, you know what, I had planned to go back to trucking eventually, and I said, well, maybe this is the time to do that. So I quit. And in my time of looking for another job or looking to get back into trucking and get my certifications done, or my physical done, I had this collection of songs, and I'm like, I'm going to put it out. And I actually broke from my naming thing where I would have the name of the album or the number of the album in the name of the song. And the picture that's on the front of it is actually how I felt at the time.
Hey.
Generated from AI painting, using my picture and then something over top of it. And it's really how I felt at the time. And I really thought that was going to be my magnum opus, or basically the album that everybody knows you for.
Right.
And what it was really was just a door closing or a chapter closing on my life. So another one opened up. And that's kind of the result of the new album, where I have music that either I'm sitting there waiting for it to be unloaded or something has happened. And most of it comes from my emotions at the time. Like, what am I feeling at the time? And I guess I can relate. I've always had this thing where any music that's played, even other people's music is being played, it puts me back into a time or a place. It gives me a memory. It triggers a memory. So these actually triggered a lot of my memories, or from that time, it triggered a lot of memories. So it's kind of like closing a chapter.
That's all right.
So I guess that's how I kind of feel of it.
That's all right. You know, so this ninth album, do you have a title for it?
No, it's still untitled. Um, I've been throwing around title ideas in my head. Asked my friend about it. Some people named the album from one of the tracks that are on there, but I've never really done that. It's kind of a feeling. So, and now that I'm actually considering taking a lot of the things out, it might just be an EP of like 7 or 8 songs.
Hey,
So that also is going to affect it. But
yeah,
I
Maybe
want
it's
to.
just
It's kind of
number
like,
nine.
yeah.
what's that?
Maybe it's just number nine.
There was an album.
That,
No, it was a song.
that
From
was
the
a
Beatles,
song by
though.
the Beatles.
Yeah.
But hey, it doesn't mean you
It's
can't have an
like-
album. Number nine.
right. But I want to kind of, I want to kind of make this album like an end of an era. And my friend gave me a name for it, and it was a religious-based title that I thought was interesting. But then I felt that I was going to have to explain it to a lot of people, which is something that I don't want to have to do with my music to begin with. I don't want to have
Right.
to explain to people or tell them what you're feeling. I mean, it might be interesting to somebody else as an artist, but I haven't really come up with any name for it.
Well, I know that you will. You'll wake up and go, aha, eureka.
That's how it usually happens.
Yeah.
Something that pops in my head at the
Yeah.
time when I'm
So
doing
I'm
it.
not even worried about that. But I'm looking around and I'm like, just coming into your studio there seems so much calming and so much fun because of all of that equipment. What's the most important piece of equipment you have right there before you?
Um,
Oh, we got you. You're supposed to say the one between my ears.
well,
You're supposed to say the one between my ears creating all this.
Yeah.
But if it's equipment, I would have to say it would probably be the computer itself because I rely a lot on that. But even that, with the live shows, is going to change. I have another device in front of me that is going to be part of my live shows, of which is a new piece. So I'm learning it. I was going to do a demonstration of live stuff on it, but I'm not really to the point where I can do it without. So I figured I would give my process of how I'm actually doing this stuff.
Over the years, how have your sound developed and your progress to where it is now? How has that developed?
The first couple of songs that I did were on I think it was a Casio, and it was a consumer keyboard. Something you might get at like a Black Friday sale these days.
Mm-hmm.
And everything that I recorded was on that internal sampler that was on the inside of that machine. So everything came out of there, and I had, I think it was a Walkman that I recorded it from. So I would take a line out that goes into that Walkman and record it from that. And it sounded really crude. And I mean, now I have a lot of gear around me that you might not even be able to see half of them that involves a lot more technical expertise at how to do it. But I think the biggest thing that I have that would be the most important thing is still, my ideas and stuff like that, ideas and the drive to actually still do it. Everything that I have in front of me is a tool that you use. Like a carpenter is no good without a pencil or a saw or something like that.
Right.
But they also can't work by themselves.
Well,
You sound extremely creative, and you have been since you was in the military,
Right.
probably beforehand with the piano.
Right.
So yeah.
so
you
much
know.
so I'm going to ask for a little demonstration of something. What can you do for us here live?
Well, my process has always been using ideas. Well, I won't even say ideas. It's more of developed where I'll mess around with some of the samples that I have. So some of the samples that I have, let me turn this down just a bit. Some of the samples that I have, I'll put into what's called a sequencer for people that don't know this. And you can record your music or you can record your ideas. This is how my process works, is I'll just sit down at the keyboard and start playing. So right now I sit on samples, and it'll play samples that I have loaded up in there. And I guess it's going to have this looping for me. So what I'll do is I'll come up with a get some names. Technical difficulty. So what I'll do is I'll come up with a couple of chord structure or chord progressions. I'll record that, and then go back and see if I like that.
Interesting.
Sometimes it doesn't come out to anything. Many times I'll sit down and do 4 to 5 tracks that I basically just won't save. And that's part of the process. It's kind of like when you're learning to be a photographer, you take a lot of pictures of crap.
Right. What's the longest you sat there making music?
Recently, about 2 hours, but it used to be only about 20 or 30 minutes.
Really?
I'm trying to gain focus better. It used to be I'd be able to sit up when I lived in Delta, I could sit up there for hours and hours playing stuff. When I moved here, I think it was my chair or just the fact that I just can't maintain focus. And I think that's the generation or the where we're at in this world now. I mean, there's so much calling for your attention. But I think right now it would be probably about an hour and a half. I'll sit here and just mess around with something. And sometimes I'll leave it running while I'm doing something else, so I can hear it in the background. Sometimes I'll turn it off, go play a video game, come back to it. Sometimes the thing crashes on me, which means I lose it whether I wanted to or not.
So basically, you have a digital compiler, and you can just add layers of music and remove layers of music and stretch that layer if you want to stretch that particular layer, right?
Yes, like I said before, when I was doing it at first, it was just a tape recorder, so whatever you did came out, and there wasn't much you could do it with the gear that I had at the time. These days, you can edit the notes that you have, stretch them so they're longer. A lot of times, I'd like to say that I actually started out with the piano, and then take those sounds and make them into something else. Like change the sound that's on it from a piano to a guitar or even a sample playing. So it has evolved a lot, but I mean, there's still the basic. If you don't have something you put into it, you're not going to get much out of it. People sometimes say, well, the computer does it for you.
A whole new avenue of creativity for you.
Right on. So like those pink buttons over there, is that the drum?
That is a drum pad. Let me see if I can pull this up. And it is doing something, I don't know what it is.
Hey.
Sometimes it gets to be a muddy mess.
Oh, it sounds great.
Yeah, it muddied it up a little bit. Yeah, I hear what he's saying.
And now I can't get it to stop. Just have to mute that. Sometimes I mean, that's part of the technical glitches. Sometimes it'll continue to play when you want it to stop. So this just happens to be this time. But yeah, a lot of samples I get from.
All right.
Some of the samples that I have in here, though, I have such a collection of samples now, and samples and instruments that I play. I recently upgraded my Complete, which is the software that I use, so it has even more now. Sometimes I have so many damn instruments that I don't even know what to do with them, or virtual instruments. And a lot of times it comes right back to the piano. A good sounding piano for me is one of those things that I love to do. I would love to have a Steinway D Grand in my place, but that's $150,000. I don't have.
Right.
Well, sometimes it's best to keep it simple and stay at the basics.
Hey, nothing wrong with dreaming. That sounds like a nice instrument to have. That would be the only thing I would have in my home. No furniture, none, just that piano.
Remember that
Right?
Yeah.
Danny White had one of those Steinways. One friend of ours is like, yeah, okay.
So Phantom Frost, in looking at your creative process, I mean, it's obvious you are very gifted and very talented. And when you're creating, writing these songs, where do you typically draw the inspiration from? I mean, does he have to be in a certain mood to get in the studio and make something, or you can probably take any mood and come out with a song?
I like to use my moods to sit down, but it's mostly the mood is just I guess you could say I have it used to calm down and basically refocus my mind on something else. Sometimes the mood still sticks in there. Sometimes somebody gives me an idea like, oh, hear about this song. Could you do something like that? A lot of times I think of that song and say, I probably could, but it always turns into something else. So I would say that my inspiration comes from the mood that I'm in at that moment, but that's mostly just gets me back into the studio playing something.
Okay, so now you have the ninth album. You don't have a title yet, which I know will happen for you. So when you're creating the music, all of your songs, do you the title of the song comes before the creation of the song on an average, or does it
No,
the song and
it's
then?
mostly when I'll sit back and listen to the song, and then kind of the first mood or first thought that comes in my head. Usually, I think that fit just like the first song, "Cotton Candy Crush" in Japanese. It was the Japanese sound in there that I was drawn to, and I don't know where Cotton Candy Crush came from. I like cotton candy, but Candy Crush is a
It's a
game.
game, right? Yeah.
So sometimes
Right.
it's just whatever comes to my head at the time,
That's all
and I
right.
throw it up there. Mostly it's a placeholder. Sometimes it goes all the way through it. There was one song on I think the last album that I had was called Untitled because I just couldn't come up with anything.
That's
It was
all
kind of like
right.
a big collection of sounds that didn't give me any mood at all. So that's just what I put as Untitled.
Hey, that's the one authentic way of keeping it
You know
real.
what? There's a
Right.
marketing idea. You could the name of your new release could be blank. So if people get on the music sites and they just order something that's blank, it's blank. They are continuously
Well, there's
ordering your stuff.
a music artist, Dead Mouse, that is big in the electronic scene. He's one of the bigger acts, and one of his albums actually is called Random. Was it Random Title or something like that? That's one of them was named after the file path for where he stored the album on his computer.
Yeah, and it's
So,
working probably. They're like, what? Because
oh
it's
yeah,
different.
he makes a lot of money doing it, doing concerts, and he puts a lot of the money that he makes right back into the concerts. So he's doing it a lot for the love of doing the music itself.
That's all right. That's all right. But what makes you want to keep producing fantastic electronica and down tempo music?
Um, Mostly, I guess I look at it as a hobby. I'm always writing music for myself, and everything that I wrote is something that I enjoy playing over multiple times or putting it together. And I think that it's one of those things everybody has to have a hobby, something that they get stressed over, they get stressed over or spend money on or something like that. But it's still something you just call a hobby.
Mm-hmm.
So the results of that hobby are something that I enjoy. And I'm still looking for my crowd the larger crowd that actually likes my music for what it is.
You say hobby. I look around where you are right now and say passion.
Yeah, it's an expensive one.
Yeah, that's a passion if I ever say so.
See, now that so the Queen can forget my little passion. It's mine is I am mild compared to you. I mean, look, this stuff hanging behind me is nothing compared to what you.
Well, you know
Oh,
what?
I
You get
think
there
about guitars
gradually.
myself.
Yeah. So listen, what's the big picture then? I mean, you're in it to win it, nevertheless, and I think that there's so much more that you have to offer and to give. And I'm glad that we have come aboard and are now your fans because it's fantastic music. But for you, Phantom Frost, what's the big picture? Where do you see yourself down the line with this music?
I would like to make a living off of doing my creative passion. I'm not talking like millions, but something that would pay the bills and replace doing truck driving. And after this album is done, I'm planning on having a hiatus where I'm just basically promoting this stuff or learning how to do the social media to promote my stuff.
Right.
So now that I have a big back catalog to actually promote, that's where my direction is going now. I'm not saying I'm going to give up music. I'm switching it over to the live sets. So it would be mostly my music would be put into a live situation where I'm playing live. And then I gain a smaller fan base of people there. And then they go into, I would like to have it grow to the point where it's self-sustainable. Like if I'm going to buy a keyboard, I'm usually in debt for 6 months on it. It would be nice if I could do some shows where like that new keyboard that I would like to get, I could pay from doing those shows.
Right on. Mm-hmm. Hey, why don't you be the one to, right here in Northwest Ohio, be the one to start the Electronica festivals and different gigs and bringing in some of these newcomers and some of the old comers who's just been wanting to get out of the house, out of the studio and get out into the public and show people, hey, well, you might be that one,
There's a lot of people that are way above me that have been doing this for years in the live area. And that's something new to me. I'm a studio musician. But playing it live is something new. So I guess it's a growth process. But I'm still
getting comfortable.
Newcomer to it. Yeah, I'm not even comfortable with it right now.
Well, I don't care how many it is out there in the world. And yes, there I'm sure there are, but there's only one Phantom Frost.
Yes.
Only one. Phantom Frost doing his thing. Listen, we're going to go out with a song, but before we do, is there anything that you want to add? You have any more upcoming projects and things that you're working on?
Basically learning this new piece of gear so I can start doing the live shows. And then trying to connect with some of the other people that do the live shows as well. Other than that, like I said, after this album comes out, I'm going to do a hiatus on actually doing studio music and gearing it towards live.
When are you going to release the album?
I'm hoping to by the end of this month.
Oh, okay.
My birthday is actually tomorrow, and that was the goal. But when I was looking at it, I was like, "There's no way I'm going to get all these done tracks out and released by then."
Well, please keep me posted, if you will.
And happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Yeah. So where can we go? Where can we go to purchase? You have 9 albums out. Where can we go to listen to? Well, 8 is now. The 9th one, you're on pins and needles. We're waiting for that one. But for all the rest of the music, where can we go to listen and purchase?
Any streaming place, any streaming like Apple Music or Spotify or Amazon Music or any of those larger venues or larger places, you can go and just do Phantom Frost and it should pull it up. Now, if you go to phantomfrost.net, it'll pull up my Bandcamp, my old Bandcamp thing, and that's a good way to, at least if you want to send an email or send some of the older stuff on there, you can listen to it there. But like I said, most of it is all streaming online.
Okay. And so for following you on social media, how can we do that?
Phantom Frost, FANTOM space FROST will pull it up, but phantomfrost.net is probably the best way to get into the group, or that QR code that popped up earlier.
Mm-hmm. We're going to put that out too.
We'll pop it up again on the last song.
Yeah, we will. So tell me about Running to the Next Exit.
This was inspired, I guess, when I was out driving and driving through Detroit in a truck in the summertime is really, really frustrating because they close right now they're closing a lot of exits and stuff like that. And if anybody's lived in Detroit or drove through Detroit, there are so many exits and bridges and highways that go through there. It is a huge mess of
mess.
Frustration.
It's a mess.
Frustration, right. It was the song title itself was inspired by them closing exits and me arguing with my GPS saying I can't go that way because it closed it. So when I got to the delivery, I had a moment to sit down and I made a song on my phone, or the idea of the song on my phone. And then when I finished it and gave it that name, it was kind of like putting that frustration into a song and then letting it go. So I guess it's a way of thinking about something that frustrates you and put it into a song and then letting it go so you don't have to think about it anymore. And now it kind of lives with me.
When you put it like that, I can kind of imagine running to the next exit and being in a traffic jam and you're just like waiting to get to that exit and get out. But hey, that's my version. Your version is better. Your song is even better than that. Let's enjoy Running to the Next Exit by Fathom. Please go and follow this guy. Get the latest music and stay tuned. We'll let you know when you can catch that ninth mystery album that'll be coming out soon. Hey, I thank you so much, Fathom, for taking the time on this day and being on the show. We'll be in touch with you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Running to the next exit, Fathom right here. Check it out. I hope you enjoyed that because I certainly did. I was over here just bopping it to the beats. Great music. Fathom is the name. Go and check him out. Get his music on all music and social media platforms. I'm looking forward to the ninth Mysterious Name album because it hasn't been named yet, but it's coming out very soon, and we will definitely keep you posted on all that has to come from Fathom. on this terrific Tuesday, the Queen Silvy Show. I hope you enjoyed that. Smooth, did you enjoy that?
Absolutely.
That was so hot and great. I want to give some more of the shout outs if I may, because if I don't, they'll make sure they let me know that I did not say. A happy shout out to Kelly and Ryan in the All American Boys. Ooh, I was like, wait a minute. Yeah, Matt and Tracy and the All American Girls. Shout out to you. C. Shorty Franklin, Pamela Anderson, Gold Rosa, Renita Easley, Donna Ferry, and Pam Bailey. Shout out to you. From Africa, shout out to Princess Ariolua. I love that name. To Amy Kanima, and as well as Websterito Hostile Flow and Hero Boy down in Africa. Shout out to you. Edith Verhoek is from the Netherlands. Shout out to you, Edith Sassy Savage. Pinky Harmon and Robin Taylor, shout out to you. Lorenzo Gabaniza, shout out to you. James and Audrey, Serious Edition. Nana Linda Hartley, shout out to you. To Queen D. Brown, Sandra Ben Johnson, Melody Gordop, Miguel Monteban, Joe Mass, shout out to you. Hey. If you would love to be shouted out, if you have someone that you would love to be shouted out and represented on the Queen Silvy Show every Tuesday, every Wednesday with Tim's Tidbits, and every Thursday with the Now You Know Show with Queen Silvy and Smooth Tim. Simply send me the name, contact information to queensylvy@comic.com. Go to the website, thequeensylvyshow.com, or wherever you're viewing or listening to this, you're more than welcome to send it in the comment section. Message Smooth. He'll make sure that we get this taken care of and get it handled in. I'm feeling pretty good. I hope you're feeling pretty good. I do want to thank you for tuning in, listening in, watching. Do spread the word and be kind if you will. Smooth, how can we be followed?
Hang on just a second there, Queen.
Hang on just a second there, Queen. Yeah, baby.
We can easily be followed on all the platforms. Simply go to Google and type in The Queen Silvy Show and pick your platform that you like to follow us on. Or more importantly, as I said earlier in the show, excuse me, go to YouTube and type in The Queen Silvy Show and follow us there and catch all the shows.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Did Smooth mention that we are up for an award?
No, Tim did not. He said nothing about that.
Tell him about it, Smooth. It's exciting.
We are up for a nomination from Toledo City Paper for Best of Toledo. So if you would go to the ToledoCityPaper.com and go to the Best of Toledo, go over to Media, scroll on down to local podcast, and that's where you can nominate the Queen Silvy Show.
Right on. That's exactly where you can find us. And be kind, spread the word around, vote here, vote there, all that adds up, right? And we appreciate you as well. So, anything else you want to say, you want to add in, and want to give some hints for tomorrow's show, by the way?
Nope,
is in the
happening.
evenings, Tim's Tidbits with special co-host Larry E. out of Dallas, Texas. That is in the evenings, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Do check your time zones. Any hints?
Nope.
Just super greatness.
Just tune on in.
Gonna have to tune in for that, as well as Thursday, because on a terrific Thursday we have the Now You Know Show with Queen Silvy and Smooth Tim, bringing you inspirational, encouraging, funny, some magnificent segments, from some magnificent kings and queens all around the world just for you. That is in the evenings on Thursday, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But again, do check your time zones, but be there. Come and get some of this super greatness.
Please do. So I guess until next week, same Queen time, same
right.
Queen station, we will holla. Bye.